What's up, everybody? It's your boy Wings of Redemption, and people wanted me to talk about young people dating, but young people shouldn't date. You shouldn't date unless you have your own vehicle and your mother or father doesn't have to go with you. That's just my little thing there. Because what are you going to do? Take your girl to the monkey bars? Nah, pimp. I'm actually going to talk about my very first job today. Well, my very first official job. Official job means paycheck goes on, tax returns and things like that. My very first job was the International Grocery Association, or most people know as the IGA. You'll notice the IGA from the really shitty commercials. And the guy, everyday low prices, IGA. Yeah. I got an IGA job. I pretty much got it sight unseen because they needed help basically. And let me tell you, I will never work at a grocery store again. Grocery stores are generally, I think I worked 3 days at the IGA as a whole. And to this day, it's probably the only job I've ever quit. And the reason I quit was it was so mind-numbingly boring. You talk about a boring job working at a grocery store. I mean, you pretty much front shelves all day. If you don't know what fronting shelves is, it's basically people that go by, they pick up a can of like pork and beans and they knock like 3 cans over, 4 cans, or they keep picking up the cans and they take the one in the front and the ones at the back are pushed back on the shelf. What you got to do as a storefronter is you got to restock the shelf and you got to pull it forward so the labels are facing outward so everything looks neat and orderly. You also sometimes have to take everything off the shelf and wipe the shelf down to get dust off the shelf. Those 2 tasks right there are probably 75% of the job, taking shit off the shelf and putting shit back on the shelf. The other change is price changes. Instead of just having one set price under the cans, these cans are $1.59. IGA seems to want to put labels on every motherfucking can. So if the can gets separated, you can still know the price of the label. So what you gotta do is you gotta get a label making gun, and you have to pretty much go by and have a thing called a label scraper, which you scrape the label off and you put another one on. That's a new price, and you have a sheet of paper that tells you what price that the new label is. And it is such a pain in the... It's boring, dude. I worked 2 12-hour days just like that, and they were some of the worst days I've ever experienced because it was so boring. You can't talk to anybody. Most of your human interaction is where's your Pepsi products at aisle 3, where's your this at aisle 4, and it's really really boring, dude. It's one of those jobs that will just make you pull your hair out toward the end of the day. Yeah, it's one. I can't tell you how bad it is. So I ended up quitting. I had to go in for a third 12-hour day, and I called him like, look here, thank you for the job, but it's just not for me. I just couldn't handle it because one, it didn't really make no friends either. There was just rules, and boredom. So it was one of the worst jobs I've had. Some of the funner jobs I've had was like working at a movie store. I worked at a movie store movie gallery, and it was really fun. They don't really have movie galleries anymore. They kind of went under. Well, I think they went under. Or at least the one around here in Conway went under. But it was pretty much the same thing as IGA, but you got to check people out. You got to pretty much put out the new movies. You get to go back and it's basically like trying to rent a movie for like 4 or 5 hours a day, because working at a movie store never really had 8-hour shifts. You'd get like 3 or 4 hour shifts. You go in, you'd wipe some shelves down. You'd pretty much make sure all the movies were behind the right movie boxes, and you see if things are out of place. And every now and then you'd change the shelves over. But that job was mainly standing around and talking. So that was a fun job that paid more than IGA. So if you want a first job, don't do grocery stores. Grocery stores are some of the worst jobs. I think doing grocery stores or McDonald's are 2 of the worst jobs you can have. The funnest job I've ever had was Domino's Pizza. Being a delivery driver, all you do is drive around, listen to music, and deliver pizza. And then every now and then you got to take order or like do some pizza on the make line. But after that, even like the closing time of like a pizza place is a great time because you're chilling out, hanging. Most of the time you go out, well, shit, the pizza place I worked at was right beside a bar, so half the time the bar would give us free stuff like chicken wings or iced tea or whatever, and we could just go hang out at the bar after we got off work because the bar hadn't closed yet. So yeah, pizza's fun. Grocery stores suck. That's the moral.